and we prayed.
It's like an alignment. Mm-hmm. Alignment.
And at that moment, my feet felt grounded. You know, I felt solid. Whatever we do. And then I think we all came out even after that feeling great for a minute. But then all of a sudden, I got to tell y'all, and you remember this? 2 minutes after the prayer, our phones start blowing up.
Discussions in this show are for entertainment and educational purposes only and should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and SmartPro Financial are not affiliated.
Hey, SmartPro Radio listeners, we're so excited because this podcast is going to be a little different than the ones we've done in the past. We've had some amazing guests so far this year. We've had Rob and John from Eventide. We've had Dr. John Deloney. We've had Ken Coleman. But today, I get to sit down with two of my business partners. These are the founders of SmartPro Financial, and we're going to talk about the story, why we started this company, the heart behind it, and the mission that we're on. And then we'll get to talk a little bit about some personal stuff, interests, what we're into, what we're reading. And I think it's going to be really helpful for you to have a great understanding of who SmartPro Financial are and the heart behind our company. So with that, I want to welcome Brian Wheeler to the podcast. Brian is a founding partner of SmartPro from 2017. And then my father, Rick Godfrey, to the podcast as well, also a founding member in 2017. The three of us started SmartPro back, at this time of year almost, in 2017. And we're going to talk about where it's gone from that point, the growth, the vision, the heart behind our company, and where we're going into the future. So I want to start out with a quick story. And the story really is the starting of our company. A lot of people probably assume that when you start a company, you've read your business books, you know exactly how things are going to be laid out, you have this great business plan. That wasn't the case for how we started SmartPro Financial. You'd think that, man, a financial company, of course that's the case. It has to be very well thought out. Our company was one that was started under duress. It was started in an environment of highly political environment when it came to the financial world. A lot of rules and regulations that were changing rapidly that actually had a lot of advisors leave the industry at one time, and a lot of upheaval with different ways that people operated and did business, whether it was commission accounts, whether it was fiduciary style accounts, whatever that looked like in the financial world, it was changing and changing rapidly. And we felt like we had to make a change with it. So I want to go back in time. I want you to think about those times when we were getting started, the conversations we had, and really the start of our company and how this came together. So why don't you give me your insights of what you thought, and we'll just have a conversation around that.
Yeah, you want to go first?
Sure. We were talking a lot about the origin stories and how it all began. And then I've been doing this since I was actually 30, but got my first license at 35 as far as being a securities license, and I'm obviously a bit older now. And so I was going, okay, what was the catalyst that moved me from here to there to there to next? And there's always experiences in life that kind of throw you forward. And ultimately, I appreciate every place I ever was when I started in the business, and I started basically selling life insurance, right? And then it kind of just kept going from there. And I couldn't find a mission in that. There wasn't a real mission there. But I appreciated every experience I had and every place I might have been. And then and I always was talking this morning with you, just saying how much I wanted to have my son in the business with me at one point in life. and because I actually liked you, it was really amazing.
That's a good thing.
Still do. but that being said, the catalyst that moves us from one place to the next is our experience, and then the wisdom that we gain from every one of those experiences helps us develop where we're at today and where our company is. So I guess the thought is, how did we get started? How did it all happen? And it just developed. It developed over experience, time, and trials and tribulations, I suspect.
Yeah, when I think back to that time when 2017 around Labor Day, and really what I remember, if you look at it in the rear view or 30,000 foot view or whatever, is we got in the business to make a great book of business. Like that's what we were trying to do at the time, was just be advisors in the ecosystem that we were in. But then all these doors opened, some of it because of mistakes of other people, some of it because of, opportunity. Now there's new doors opening. And essentially it was, let's create the thing that we would always want to be a part of. Mm-hmm. Because we think we know this partnership with Ramsey and what we've been doing, we were already kind of leading in a lot of ways by taking advisors' phone calls, clients' phone calls, trying to craft this thing and shape this thing for all the people around us and make it better. And when I remember that September, to me, it was just like these doors opening going, hey, you now have the chance to make it the way it should be. That's right. Meaning you should step out, create this thing, put the flag in the ground, and it kind of worked right away because we didn't call other advisors to come work with us. We had 25 people call and come with us immediately. Mm-hmm. We made some phone calls, but there was a lot of organic, like, hey, if you're going to go do that thing and create the thing that we've wanted, we want to come with you. Yeah. And there was like a movement in the background just happening. And I feel like we kind of were willing to do it. Well, we were willing to walk through the door.
We did have a really great business plan.
We did.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. We laid it out, read all our books. We had it on a spreadsheet. I'm being very facetious right now, but it's like when you start a business under duress, the duress wasn't really for me or you for your duress, or Rick, even yours. It was, we realized what was happening for our people.
Yep.
And I took it very seriously. I always take it seriously, even to this day. There's a huge responsibility that we have to the people that have come on board with us and said, hey, I'm going to work with you. I want to follow you. I want to follow the mission of helping others and helping people ultimately become debt-free and financially independent. And that's a very easy statement to make, but it's a very personal one.
Yep.
And when you see things unraveling around you that goes, oh, this is hurting that mission of helping others. And helping others is not just helping, say, clients, it's helping our advisors to have a great life and have something that they've never dreamt about be possible.
Yeah, the business plan was empathy, really. It was like an instinct. Mm-hmm. Say, hey, I know that our customers want to be treated a certain way. And I know that advisors want to run a certain business. And it doesn't matter what was done wrong. It doesn't matter what the industry or the law was. But what we saw was that, okay, there's all these things that we know that there's demand for, whether it be from our customers and our advisors. But it doesn't seem like anyone's willing to put them together right now. So why don't we put it together?
Right.
It's like you said, we don't have a written business plan. We're like, we just know, because we were sitting across the table with people every day, whether it be customers or advisors. And it was like, I think we just have to take the shot.
Mm-hmm. Looking at kind of one of the questions I wanted to ask was the moment that we decided to take the leap and start the business. It kind of goes a lot along with this original conversation that we're having right now, but I think of it in a way, who was being harmed in this at that time? And it was our client experience, our clients. A lot of firms didn't want you to work with Ramsey fans, right? They were, insurance companies want you to sell certain products that They don't work with our mindset and what we believed, and investment firms, a different way of operating that didn't work with what we were trying to do and what we believed. And ultimately we wanted to help people in a fashion that we gave advice that we believed in. Things like the baby steps, things like paying off debt, things like investing for long term, making sure that risk tolerance was correct for you and what you're trying to do and achieve. Ultimately, we wanted to serve our clients well. And also in that, we wanted to make sure the advisors that were in business with us had the tools to succeed and win. And we saw this change in industry and what that meant for our clients and our advisors. And we did not think that we had the tools to be able to do that well. So that was a big part of the change was, hey, how do we do this in a way that we really believe that we can serve people well? And ultimately talking about why to start a company, why a change is made, why this time under duress is because circumstances outside of your control demanded that change had to occur. And that's uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable with anything in life. Change is not something that I think a lot of people naturally go out there and be like, I just want to find something that can be changed. I don't want to go out there and create something new. Those are hard things to do. They're no small things. So when you look at that, you go, man, we had to make an adjustment, had to make a change because we had a mission. We had a mission to serve Ramsey fans well. And that mission was being overridden by circumstances out of our control. But they're in your control if you decided to make the bold change and say, I'm going to start something new. Now, the interesting thing is we got to do that together, and we got to do that with people that, I hold as dear friends and amazing advisors, amazing people that helped you put these plans together. So it's not like we went in there with no idea, but we went in there green going, how do we start and run a business? Mm-hmm. And we've all ran personal books of business. When I say that for the audience, really that's the clients that you serve. That's very different than having a company of advisors and clients that you serve in a big sense of the word. When we first started our organization, we maybe managed somewhere around $100 million of client assets. At the time of recording this, we're at $2.5 billion of client assets. We started with a handful of advisors. At the time of recording this, we're over 100 advisors around the country. And so things have progressed in a huge way, but there was a giant learning curve, I would say, at the beginning, because you're learning how to run this well. Now, the thing that I believe was the secret is the knitting, the culture that we all came with, meaning that we knew exactly who we wanted to serve. We knew why we wanted to do it, and we knew how we were going to run a company. Things like this, that it's 100% debt-free company. Most companies in general aren't that way. Most small companies that are growing certainly aren't that way. Mm-hmm. But that took a lot as well, because then it's investing capital into it from your pocket, not from a bank, not from a loan. That's a very different thing. And so you grow a business at the speed of cash. You're growing a business with the same principles that we coach our clients on. Mm-hmm. And that was something from the beginning. Those were the decisions made at the very beginning, that principled decision making, because you were rooted in something that you firmly believed, which is the same advice that we give our clients. Live debt free. Think long term, not short term. Like, those principles allowed us to grow the business in the sense that it is now and today, and where it's going into the future. But going into the starting a company and taking that leap, it's funny when we're doing it, and looking back on it, I think it's a bias because time has passed. I look back on it now and it didn't feel like such a bold leap. In the time, oh my goodness. I remember the panic starting a business. I remember the thoughts that you had of, oh my goodness, do we make the right decision? Going, I wish, almost a sense of a little bit of an anger of, I wish I wasn't in the position that I had to make this decision.
There's a reluctant,
right?
Like, I wish I didn't have to do this right now.
Yes. Maybe I'd like to
do it later, but I have to do it now.
Exactly. And so that's when we talk about it's almost was forced upon us. So you joke about this business plan, the spreadsheets, how it's all going to work. They weren't there because this was something that was a few weeks, not months, not years in the making. I think we probably all had something in us that said, oh, I believe I can run and operate a business, that sense of entrepreneurship, that like, I'm going to go and out there and start something new. But having to do it at that time, it wasn't one we wanted to have to the decision we had to make. It's not something we wanted to do and really seeked. But going back into taking that leap to start a business, what was if it was a moment, if there was a time, can you go back that far and think, or do we repress all those memories so that we don't have to think about
Did we tuck them away?
Right?
Are they gone?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I was thinking last night about all these things, and I was like, the origin story. So I'm going to go back. You're going to hate me for this. I'm going to go back to when I was a year and a half old. Okay, so how's that for origin? Now, I'm not going to take you through this long, exhausting timeline, right? But I remember my sister telling me, she goes, "You were a year and a half old, probably," and she said, You were just a fun-loving, great little guy." And she goes, "But you were fiercely independent then." And I was like, "What are you talking about? A year and a half old is not independent." Well, I remember the crib. It's so dumb. I can remember the crib I used to be in. And she said, "One day, you broke out of your crib." She said, "You busted the bars off your crib and walked out all the way to the front door of the house. And we found you reaching up, trying to get the lock open to get out of the house." And so that story kind of sums my thing up. So when we had to go, so I guess I was born with this crazy independent streak that break me out of this jail cell. I'm going to go see what's out in that front door and see what's in the front of this house, and get out of this little cage I'm in. And so now I'll fast forward to now, when we decided to start the company. I had a weird sense of calm, okay? Because I was like, this fits my narrative. I'm good. Let's break the chains. Let's get out. Let's do what we want to do. I didn't know how that was all going to happen. It wasn't a laid out plan, right? And then when we got together to make this decision, and we did it all together, because I wouldn't move if you guys didn't move. I mean, I wouldn't have done anything. And it wasn't my decision. It was ours as a group. But I felt comfortable. I felt calm. I was ready for this fight, to see how we could do. How far could we go? And so for me, there's in conflict for me, there's a great sense of calmness. And I don't know why that is. But it's just in my DNA, I suspect. So making this decision was fun. It was exciting. It was scary. It was all the above. I can't even imagine what my poor wife went through, because she's the opposite of that, But it's working out and it's doing amazing, And I just always wanted this to be great for all the people I cared about. It wasn't just, I want this and I want that and I want to get this much money or whatever. It was, how is this going to work out for a legacy journey for everybody that trusts us? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So going back to early days, staying there for a minute, what are the challenges that were presented? Maybe challenges that you knew they would be there, but also the ones that maybe came out of the blue.
I think for me, this is going to sound to a lot of people kind of crazy, but it wasn't there. I had a level of calm as well. It's just kind of like, this is what we have to do. The challenge was all the paperwork. Like there was just so much administrative stuff that had to get done to start a company.
Yeah.
And at every level, whether you're talking about customers, whether you're talking about advisors, whether you're talking about the framework of what you're creating with the investment industry and your licensing. And that was to me, the hard part wasn't, okay, I need to invest my own money, my own time. I need to take this risk. I need to be on the phone with the customers. I need to be on the phone with my team, my founders, my advisors. None of that fazed me at all. It was like, okay, now that we have the direction, now that we're making decisions, we're making moves, and then we got to fill out the paperwork. I mean, it was a mountain. It was. And luckily we were also willing to invest our own money and get people to help. And there was part-time help, there was family help, there was, I mean, it was like an all hands effort. But when the world that we live in is, you have to get an idea in agreement, and then you got to put it on paper. And it, like, that was just the toughest part, was the follow through on all that, making sure that it got done well and on time.
Yes. That was a different world. Thinking about it, it feels like a lifetime ago. I distinctly have a memory in the house I was living in at the time where my wife was teaching 4 advisors and myself how to do paperwork. Here's where you log in. Here's where you upload this. Here's where you find this form, and doing a training on that. She's a school teacher. She's home from school, 3:30, 4 o'clock, doing training on helping 4 of our advisors learn how to actually help a client by knowing how to turn in paperwork right or find the right forms. And you think, oh my goodness, those are things you forget about, but that's what it took to start the business. I also go to the challenges that we have now. So you think of the ones early on, and there's so many more to name. Like, and anyone that started a business and a small business is, you know what those are like, and there's so many. I want to give you guys a moment to think about this. The challenge is now that we're no longer a small business, but a thriving, growing business. And one of the challenges that I've never heard anyone talk about, but one that we've experienced and continue to experience, is what happens when you grow too fast.
Right.
No one talks about that. It's always, here's how to grow. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. We went through a time where we grew incredibly quickly, and we're still in that time. We're much more aware of it now. But when you're going through rapid growth, oh my goodness, that has a whole different set of problems that you have to catch up to. And we saw that just in the last few years of this rapid growth. And it comes to, how do you make sure your culture stays intact? How do you make sure that you're bringing on the right people? How do you manage, instead of a team of 3 or 4 family members and friends helping, like in that example of Alicia helping with paperwork, 50 home office dedicated employees to help your 110 advisors? That is a whole different set of challenges. And I wouldn't say problems, but challenges that arise. And what happens when you do that in 18 months?
So you are connecting 2 things for me in this moment. I didn't think about this ahead of time, but I really think that the culture piece early on, because we were investing our own money and time with no debt, that is what kept us true to that. Because you kind of reach this point where you go, if I'm going to forgo this money, we're not going to let people be treated that way. If I'm going to forgo this money, we're not going to put up with, greed in our company, right? So it's like the debt-free fueled that. And I also think the debt-free growth fueled, because you hear this a lot, like companies will grow too fast and they fail. They were growing too fast. They're out of control. They went off the rails. Yeah. Well, we've probably been on the red line of that for years. But the reason why we can do that is we don't owe anybody any money. That's right. So when we do have a recession, when we do have something go wrong, we don't have, then all of a sudden the bank isn't at the back door going, that's hey, right, now you got to deal with me. Yeah. We can just pull back, fix the problem, and then get back to pushing the machine forward.
Well, we're in an uncontrollable world. Our environment around us is changing constantly. The political environments, all the things that come at you. Like, I remember 2008 when the housing crisis was happening, and I was an advisor at that point, and that's when I understood what being an advisor was. It wasn't about rate of return and Sharpe ratios and alpha and all that stuff. It was about calming people down.
Yeah.
While I was trying to be calm, I was like, oh my goodness, this is new territory. People's portfolios have dropped 40%. They're calling me left and right. Like, I have control over that. But then my spirit came up and said, listen, I'm going through what you're going through. My portfolios are down that far. I know what you're feeling. I know how you feel. I know how I feel. We're in this together. And as your advisor, I just tell you, hold the line. Just hold the line. It will come back. History tells us markets come back, and they come back stronger than the down markets. And I had to believe that too, because I was thinking, is this it? Are we going through like the ultimate 1930s stock market crash? And it wasn't. We weren't. But I could only imagine, the feelings and our clients panic. So I learned how to be a really good advisor then. And that was through a storm, right? Yeah. It wasn't through all these good times and everything. It's through these storms. And that's when I realized it wasn't about building portfolios. It wasn't about, me being a slick talker. It was me by learning how to be empathetic and learning how to connect with their fears, because their fears are my fears. I'm human just like everybody else, right? And so I think I learned a big lesson through these fires. So every time we go through storms, it's like, what can we control? Well, yeah, we can control about our debt. Mm-hmm. We can control the things that will come after you if you give up your freedom. And having debt is giving up your freedom. You're surrendering it, And so when we keep our company going like we have, we had to cash flow through a lot of things and a lot of storms. And it had to have a lot of faith.
That's right.
And we had to do a huge faith walk. Yeah. 90% of the time it is that way.
Yeah. And you mentioned a word that I want to jump in for a minute on, is that word of faith. And starting a company, you have the mission, why you do this, and some of those things happened as we were growing, right? Okay, I'm going to be real honest with the audience here. We aren't big guys on going, what's our mission statement? What's our core value? We had to learn those things, because when you're growing a business quickly, you look at that when somebody's giving you that advice and this is what you need to do, as like, yeah, I'll do that when I have time. That's not a big deal. Like that's okay. That's like corporate stuff. And we're so anti that fierce independence you talked about, anti-corporate America, anti-corporate, that we're just like, that just seems like, okay, what is that really going to do? Mm-hmm. What we had to learn along the way through a lot of plugging into leadership conversations, things like entre leadership that we've gone to and listened to speakers and business owners that have gone before us, that have started great businesses, of what they've done. We're able to take those things together. And one of the things that we talk about is our mission. And I want to go back to the word you had with faith there for a minute, because, I think looking at what we're trying to do, of course, we are in the finance space. Like, we're helping people with term life insurance. We're helping people with investments, with long-term. Of course, you want to have the best options for our clients possible. Like, we try to do everything we can to do that, from our research to our teams behind us to our home office team that's continually making sure that we're doing things in the best way possible. That almost seems like a given, like you should be that way. I guess that's how I view it. But going to mission, like, we're a country, to me, in crisis. And it's a crisis of hope. It's a loss of it. There's so many people that go, I'll never be able to own a home. I'll never be able to get out of debt. The student loan thing was a disaster for me. I can't find a good paying job. I'll never retire, much less be able to put money aside. I have to have some sort of gimmick to get me there, whether it's some sort of investment tool or something that looks like an investment tool that's marketed really well, or I have to do something different. Like, this slow and steady will not win the race for me. This whole mindset and culture has really deteriorated people's hope of what they're going to have. And for me, our mission is simple. We want to be a light on the hill. We want to be a company that sets apart. We want a company that says, no, there is hope. We're going to show you what that looks like. We're going to pull you up, and we're going to help you and show you how to actually be able to have dignity when it comes to your finance, have breathing room for the first time maybe ever, so that your relationships with your family can flourish, with your spouse can flourish, so that you can not be stressed all the time. So every time you see the news and at the end of the, before a commercial break, it shows you what the market did, you're not going, oh my goodness, or you're not looking at going, well, that's not me. I'm going to be part of the half of the 50% that never invest anything. And I'm not going to participate in this and look at it with such disdain and animosity of that's them, not me kind of mentality. It's like, how do you change that? How do you change the world we're in with good and true advice that's beyond, again, the rate of return? But no, here's where you can go. Here's the desired future you have, and we're going to show you how to potentially get there if you do these few simple things right. And it goes back to not owing people money, to be able to look long-term in the future of, hey, you're going to be 45. You might not be there now, but you will be. And what do you want your life to look like then? And here's what we have to do to actually make that happen. You will be 65. What do you want your life to look like then? And here's what we have to do. And then ultimately, for me, because of how I view the world and the lens, and as long as I get to be a person that has influence and leadership within our company, is I want it to ultimately be something that reflects Christ to the world. Absolutely. And how it operates and how it views things. And so those are the missions that I have, which are lofty and big, but they're so needed in society of where we're at. So going back to those things that are hard to start in a business, they're hard now as a business is growing. They don't seem hard when the mission is so big and important. And I've often thought of, we've talked about Ramsey and help people get out of debt and what that looks like. And I've had times where, oh my goodness, we're in an environment now where debt in almost every category, whether it's student loan debt, credit card debt, home debt, personal loan, every category is at the highest they've almost ever been. And you go, man, you've been trying to help people get out of debt for 25, 30 years. Like, do you not feel this sense of almost like failure because it's not working? But it does work. Mm-hmm. You see all the stories of the people that their lives forever changed. And someone go, look, you guys, you're a financial firm in Sarasota, Florida. You have 102 advisors. You have 50, home office team. Like, how are you going to make a change? Well, we are every day. Every time we talk to somebody, every time somebody decides that they want to come work here and support our advisors, every time somebody decides, I want to become an advisor, I want to work with you guys as an advisor, it changes. It does a little bit to change the people around us because of the culture and the mission that we're on. Mm-hmm. And so I want to speak to that mission for a moment of what in there inspires you guys to continue to push and to stay in that fight that we talked about continuously.
Well, I want to just say it's a foundation. You have to build a house on a strong foundation. And us three, started this business holding hands and saying a prayer.
Yeah.
And the ask was, give us guidance. Make our decisions sound. Make them foundationally right, God, and we prayed.
It's like an alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Alignment.
And at that moment, my feet felt grounded. I felt solid. Whatever we do. And then I think we all came out even after that feeling great for a minute, but then all of a sudden, I got to tell y'all, and you remember this? 2 minutes after the prayer, our phones start blowing up. People are saying, we're hearing you're going this way or you're going that way, and you need to make a decision now on what you're doing. And then other people saying, you can't do this. It was like these external forces.
You know what it reminded me of is in the action movies when the bad thing happens, and all the soldiers are together at a cookout, and every phone starts going off. Yeah. That was what happened to us.
It was crazy.
We weren't going to protect the country, but it was like, you just said this prayer. Yeah. You're going to war now.
Yeah. And God said, here it's coming. I got your back.
Yeah.
You got a good foundation. Your feet are strong. You're in concrete.
Yeah.
I got
people might think I'm trying to dramatize that, but we all know that that's not, that's literally how it went.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting thing is, just because you have this foundation, the culture, your mission. That doesn't make any of this easy. In fact, it makes it harder, I would imagine, because there's larger stakes and there's bigger goals, and doing those things, people go, well, that should protect. I don't think that just made it to where, hey, this is real. Like, if you're going to go do something different, here you go.
Yeah.
We're going to build those muscles right now to know what it looks like when adversity hits. And it's hit several times, even throughout growing our company. It's the same thing, and it'll happen continuously. But that being grounded and rooted in knowing what is propelling you forward, the mission you're on, why you do what you do, that is what continues to allow you to grow, to build something unique in the marketplace, and ultimately to do what we want, which is to give people hope, to be able to show that and be that light on the hill.
And true hope.
Yeah,
there's so many people out there that cast false hope that people believe in, and you can smell them out. You can feel it, especially when your hope is reality hope, is, hey, we want you to become debt free. We don't have minimum. I never had a minimum in my life. I'll start anybody wherever they start. Yeah. When it comes to investing, it's like, no, if you put your trust in me, I'm gonna help you just like I would with a person with $5 million. I'm gonna help you. And it's that foundational of true hope, Rick. It's not this these falsehoods that you see being spread out there for marketing reasons mainly, and so I think once we foundationally grounded ourselves, us three, then we were able to. The culture then was we could pass that on.
That's right.
To our others. We gave all of our folks that were trusting us the same permission to ground themselves as well, and they did with us, and that's a God thing in my opinion. Yeah. And you gotta be careful what you ask for,
Yeah.
Because God says He'll grant it to you. And sometimes it's crazy, but it's fun crazy.
Hey, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we care about doing things the right way and helping people make choices that truly matter. But here's the thing: you don't have to do it alone. At SmartPro Financial, we build a custom step-by-step plan that has the potential to help you today, but also guides you into the future you're hoping for. We use Ramsey-inspired investment models, so your money's invested the same way the Ramsey team talks about. And get this, there's no account minimums, because we believe that everyone deserves trustworthy financial advice no matter where they're starting. If you're ready to get started, then click the link below to meet with a SmartPro financial professional today.
Yeah, it's been awesome. The word that I keep, you ask about mission and the beginning and what did we feel like back then, and I've always had this, and this is why I think part of the reason why I even got into this space before SmartPro was a thing was principles, and I always want to, I think painting a picture and showing people what hope and where they can go to and how they could live the American dream and how they could have freedom is the most important thing, is to keep shining that light. But if I'm being very honest, I'm driven to be, I'm a little bit of a righteous anger kind of driven person sometimes, oftentimes. And I just see stuff around us, and the student loan trick, the printing of money that families are suffering with inflation, the little tricksy things that is put out there about this is how you build wealth and investments, and it's complicated and it's hacky, and I even to this day, if I want to try to impress or woo someone on a business idea, I can do it. I couldn't have done it 20 years ago, but I can do it now. It has zero appeal to me. Yeah. When I'm talking to someone, and people who've been around me have heard me say this, I'm like, hey, look, whether you work with us or not, whether you come on as a team member, or whether you come on as an advisor, or whether you come on as a customer or not, you should do this and you should not do that. That will hurt you. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've always just been very open-handed about that, because that kind of stuff drives me nuts
Yeah.
when people are thrown down these bad rabbit holes, and it really doesn't matter if it's investment related, the focusing on mission statement and like best practices, business related, like hacky business ideas. That's kind of what drives me a little bit, is I can't stand to see people it doesn't mean like I'm wrong tons of times, but it's the principle of the matter. Yeah. It's like the heart behind it. It's like right. you go to your mechanic and you say, I want to buy this tire on your wall. And they go, hey, that's a really expensive tire and we would make a lot of money on that. Look, can I just tell you real quick, you should not buy that tire. You should buy this tire. That's like, to me, that says everything about a business, a person, and that's kind of like what drives me. Right. And that was the same in the beginning. It was kind of like, let's jump out and take this risk together as a team, but we're not compromising on the principles. No. And if a client or an advisor or a team member doesn't want to go with us because they're enticed by this other thing, they are free to do it. But I'm gonna speak the truth. That's right. And I'm gonna keep speaking the truth. And when I get it wrong, I'll apologize. Mm-hmm. But I'm just gonna, and that's like the Ramsey EntreLeadership stuff we've been working with. And I mean, it's just continual process of speaking truth and communicating principles. That's right. And now to this day, as we get bigger, what's the thing that we struggle with the most? It's like, we gotta keep communicating. We gotta keep painting the picture, and we gotta keep shining a light on rot. Yeah. And that never really goes away. That's right. You know, whether we're still working with our first 10 clients and starting, you know, if you're that guy and you're starting your lawn business and you've got your first 5 lawns, or whether you're Elon Musk running Tesla, like that's been the hardest part, is just communicating and staying on the principles, because there's so much noise. It's everywhere.
Yes, I agree. It's talk about hope and rot and hacks. Like, if you go and look up what to do right now in America to build wealth, what you'll find is astonishing. It's almost worse than if you do the worst thing ever, which is if you have something wrong with you and you go and type into the internet your symptoms. Right, yeah, and it comes back. Cancer. It's like the worst thing ever, right? It's like, oh my
ear hurts. You have cancer.
It's like, I wish I never had looked this up, right? Because it always is the most dramatic, over the top thing that it ends with, and it's the same in our world. Oh my goodness, I have screenshots from April of 2025 where, you know, we go into this new world of tariffs, and if you went on YouTube to go look at what was happening. And I know what's happening in the sense of the financial world, or at least have an understanding. And you looked at the video thumbnails, you go, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? You know, this is it. You know, this is it, right? The beginning of the end type of titles and things, like, oh man. And then here you go a few weeks later, you know, months later, people aren't having this discussion anymore. But in the moment, hope is lost. In the moment, that's where these hacks of how to do things are born. And unfortunately, so many people will buy into them because, listen, prudent investing advice is boring. It is boring.
It's boring.
It's, hey, do dollar cost averaging over a long period of time, right? And like, those things are just principled approaches to investing. Mm-hmm. And again, you know, when you look at that, that's not going to be an interesting topic. It's just not. But there's truth in it. You know, Dave Ramsey talks about all the time about the tortoise and the hare. And at the end, who wins, right? It's the tortoise. And there are a whole bunch of hares right now looking at how fast can I do something? Uh-huh. How fast? How can I jump to the next thing?
Leverage myself, borrow money.
And how little risk can I take?
Yes, and it just doesn't match. And going back to this idea of debt will magnify mistakes. Mm-hmm. Whether in business or personal, debt magnifies mistakes every time.
All the time.
And it's a really devastating thing. We've seen this for families, we've seen this for companies, for people we know, that debt will magnify those mistakes. It'll steal hope, it will steal joy, and it will steal your future. And so that's why, going back to those principal things, we're so big on it. So talking about, you know, and not even an investment philosophy, because I think that's still kind of, we talked about it. We know investment philosophy is long term, like it's very basic, and where you're looking to grow financially.
Well, if people don't like, it's kind of this. I've heard this somewhere. I don't know who said it, but it's smarter dogs are easier to train, but it also means they're easier to tell what to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of business investing and the work world, it is the simple thing. So, I mean, if everyone like this, I think the more high IQ AI our society goes, everyone's looking for little kitschy things. And it's really like, okay, so you're investing in a business. You should try to get as many customers and great team members as you can. Oh no, but I kind of want to tinker. No. You're investing. You need customers and good team members. Okay, you're building your household wealth. Own those companies.
Yeah.
Own things that go up in value, that are getting customers, offering value, right? Oh, you work for one of these companies. Help that company get more customers, give more value to the customer, and bring on great team members.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's simple, but it's hard. It's hard to do.
That's right.
Well, there's no shortcuts.
There's no shortcut.
There's no shortcuts. And, when we talk about a faith walk, faith is, the belief in the unseen and hope in the unknown. I mean, how vague is all that? I'm sure there's more. But, it's like, okay, it goes back to foundation and hope and opportunity, but it also goes back to, the struggle and going back to fundamentals. So you can go on the internet right now and tonight you can just go scroll your Facebook or whatever, and it's a waste of time, but go ahead and do it. And then you go and look and you see all the commercials or all the things on how to do it short, how to use other people's money, build your get a credit card, use their money to build your business, and here, go buy my $1,500 package to tell you how to do it. And all they do is sell a bunch of packages to tell you how to make a bunch of money. And it's false. And it's based on unfound principles that don't work. And so, I think some of the belief that we have moved forward with is there's nothing new under the sun with investing. The rule of 72, compound interest, dollar cost averaging, all the stuff you just mentioned, that's fundamental. But what overrides that? It's the human experience. It's the human condition that says, I'm scared. I don't know what this is. My only tangible thing I have is my job that makes me money, and I can see it and feel it, and that's my job. And then everybody's lined up to steal it from your pockets, from the IRS to the, you name it, I don't even want to go there, right? But I mean, you name it, everybody's lining up to steal it from your pocket. And then when we're in an industry that is not really trusted that much, for all the righteous reasons. And the thing that goes back to our culture and who we are and what we do as a company, it's because we believe that people can succeed.
Yeah.
We believe that you can be principled in an unprincipled industry.
Exactly.
And we believe that we are we believe our company ushers that in where others don't.
Yep.
Now, other individuals might. I don't want to discredit all that, but as a company, as a corporation, as an entity of fiercely independent people as well, that they're going to succeed, and they're going to succeed because we have a foundational principle that makes sense.
Yep.
And it's the hope, it's the opportunity we keep going back to.
How do you want clients to feel when they work with somebody that's on the SmartPro team? How do you want clients to feel?
My favorite feedback that I get from any interaction in business is that's unlike what is it? You're not like other money people, or you're not like other business consultants, or you're not like other financial advisors.
Yeah.
When they say that, what I hear and what people have told me is what they mean by that is like, oh, you're actually helping me. You're actually creating clarity.
Yeah.
Because that person is on their journey, and then we're helping push them forward.
That's right.
So when they interact with, it happens in our company when they're getting help with maybe it's a transaction, a rollover, something as simple as that, or they're talking to an advisor about some kind of thing they saw on YouTube, and they come away from it going, man, they actually tried to help me.
Yeah.
Doesn't even mean it always works. I mean, there's times where we say, hey, we think we could do this for you, and then we try, and there's always stuff like that. But a lot of times the feedback that I'm the most proud of, and that I hope that we get more and more of, and we continue to lean into that, is like, man, that's not like my past experiences with other companies in your industry.
That's right.
And I think if you do that, if any business can do that, and they start hearing that, it's like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
No matter what business you're in, if you're hearing that, then you have left the noise behind. So keep going down that road.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I think for me, I want to make sure our advisors and our team always have the heart of a teacher. Mm-hmm. That if you've talked to a financial professional from SmartPro, you go, I learned something. Doesn't mean that you had to sit there and somebody talk to you for an hour about things you don't care about. That's not teaching. Right. It's that you learn something that can be beneficial to you. And that can be something small. It can be quick, but it is eye-opening. It changes a perspective. It gives you hope for where you're going. And, my background when I graduated college was to be a high school teacher. So that idea of having the heart of a teacher, you hear the Ramsey team say it all the time, have the heart of a teacher, have the heart of a teacher. That goes back to what you said earlier. Like, this is why we don't have minimums, because we don't think that that teaching somebody has to have a dollar amount in front of it first, right? I only teach you if you have X amount of dollars.
Right.
It's going, oh, you're wanting to do something unique and different that's good for you and your family and your potential legacy in the future. I'm not going to be the person that says, hey, that idea, you taking that bold step saying I need help, stops because you don't have 7 figures to invest immediately, right? That to me is an industry thing. And again, not everyone, to lump everyone in this one idea, but I know for us, it's important that we want to have the heart of a teacher, and we don't want to have barriers to entry into that space. And so that's what I want to make sure that our clients and potential clients know when they interact with SmartPro, that a SmartPro financial professional is different in the sense of how they view what they're doing. It goes back to that mission. Mm-hmm. That mission is not one that excludes people from it. It invites people into it.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the philosophy that I want to make sure that we always have. And again, that goes back to just our knitting from the start of who we are as a company organization. It's never been a thought of how do we exclude people. It's always been a thought of how do we make this bigger? How do we make, have our arms be open wider, not narrowing and bringing it in. Yeah. And so to me, that's a big part of how I want people to feel and know. They're going to be taught something. They're going to be talking to financial professionals with the heart of a teacher that actually care about them, that aren't going to have boundaries and limits to access based on capital that you're bringing to the table if you're just starting out, or if you're somebody that is coming in with an established amount of money and plan, that you also can be part of that. It's a wide open experience.
I think too, for me, a lot of things were eliminating pain points for people. And so the debt was an easy one because I had debt, and it crushed me, when I was trying to figure out how to build a business and do things, and, had responsibilities, a child that has to go through school, and I wanted him in the best schools. I had, a wife that depended on me to be a good leader and a provider. And so those outside things were my personal pain points. So I knew other people had those same pain points. So as we brought advisors in and all, and to grow our business, the thought was, I'm going to help you eliminate pain points too by learning how to help other people. And when you help other people with a sincere sense of, I'm going to help you alleviate your pain points, and then when they come back to you and you actually do eliminate those pain points, and they say things that are things like this, they go, I trust whatever you say. do whatever you think's best for my money.
It's crazy.
Do whatever you think is right for my plan, and I trust you to do it. It happened to me this week several times, actually. We're actually doing a lot of, IRA to Roth conversions, and people say, if you think that's what I should do, do it. And when you get that level of trust at that point, it really puts a lot on you too, but it does make you feel really, really good.
So we talk about the past, now the future. Where do you feel this organization's going?
Man, the thing that I've been really inspired by lately from different sources, and YouTube being two of the sources, but other sources as well, is that our organization is rare and unique, and inviting more people into it is not a greedy thing to do. Inviting more people into what we're doing is it's like that thing where you get up in the tree fort and you pull the ladder back up behind you. I don't want to be that person, and I don't want this organization to be that way. So I want you said the word, both of you said it, invitation, is I've just gotten really passionate about invitation. So, hey, if you have a heart for what we're doing, you should come do it with us.
That's right.
Hey, if you're a really amazing operations person, and, we have a young lady, I don't know if she wants her name out there, but she's helping new advisors get into the organization, and she's really good at it. It's like, if you have these skills and you want to come be a part of what we're doing, come. Come, right? And just having that heart of invitation, saying, we need to get more thoroughbreds on the bus at every level.
That's right.
And it's not self-serving in a negative sense. It's actually the honorable thing to do because of what we've seen this organization do and help people and change lives, that it's a mandate.
Yeah.
It's now become a mandate that we continue to do that. Yeah. We continue to invite more people onto the bus. And I don't know where that goes. I know the three of us struggle with what's your 5-year plan, and I
my least favorite question.
I'm with you on that. I kind of don't like the question. I'm like, but I know that if we follow the mandate and we follow the principles and we follow our heart and our culture and our faith, then I don't know. I don't want to put a lid on it. God might say,
why are you thinking small?
This is going to be the largest financial company in America. That's hard to even wrap my mind around, but I don't want to get in the way of that either. And if I have to, I believe in that so much that if I have to get out of the way, I'll do it. Yeah. I really do believe that.
I do too. And I think, going back to that invitation, is we don't want a lid on it. And we know that our mission is an important one, and it's big. And the impact that we ultimately want to have, not for personal glory, right? Not for ego. We actually, one of our core values is to not have an ego.
Right.
Like, we don't want that here.
That's right.
So it's for something bigger. And for me, it's for people. It's for the people that are interacting with us. It's for our country. Like, there's a lot of big things you're trying to do and accomplish. But it is an open invitation to, hey, if you feel like that you either are a fantastic advisor that's culturally aligned with that, or somebody that feels like, man, I'm inspired to be part of that, here we are. If you're somebody with great skills to help grow a company and work in our home office team, here we are. If you're a potential client going, I want to have a group of people that have my same values. I've been through financial peace. I'm getting out of debt. Like, I'm going through these baby steps to get to where I want to be. And I want to work with a group that also is in that with me and participates and has at heart of a teacher. Here we are. It's that open invitation in all three of those areas, because we have a large mission that we're trying to accomplish, which means you can't be limited in any of them. We have to have great financial professionals that can go out there and help people, and we don't have enough.
So I want you to talk to, but I just feel so
I love and listen.
Like in the last 2 weeks, I'm not even kidding, and this is kind of the norm now. at the client level, I had a conversation where someone said, when we first talked to you, our son said that we can trust you. No one would take our phone call, and you took time to have 2 meetings with us, and you brought us on, and here we are 10 years later, and we're able to retire, and we have other companies trying to work with us now because of what we're worth, but they wouldn't talk to us then. Your company helped us get to where we're going. We've had multiple team members. Just last night, my last job was going to kill me, and I would not know my children, and now I work here. And then at the advisor level, I've had advisors, I can't go back. I will die at this company. And like I'm hearing this, I'm like, man, you are making me feel really good. But all I know is that we have to keep doing that. Yeah. I want to hear more of that. Like if at this point I'm just in it to sell everything I own and go fishing, I could do that. But I want more of that. That's the drug that I'm getting hooked on is I want to invite people into that, and then I want them to feel that way, and then they have time with their family and their kids. Like, that's what I want.
I agree with everything both of you said, and I had a weird dream last night, and so I've been writing this number down. I've been holding on to for a while, and it is all about future casting. I think when we're kind of thinking this through, and we talk about the future, at my age now, and I'm not super old, but compared to our advisors, I'm super old, and we are people that are 23 years old, 22 years old, and they have the same heart and the same value. It's like if you teach 2 and 2 is 4, and you had a teacher that's been around for 50 years saying 2 and 2 is 3, who's the better advisor, right? The young person that knows the truth. And then I started thinking about the future stuff, and then I think about in the Bible it says you fool, you don't have tomorrow, you have today, and that's very paraphrased, by the way. And it says, and I started thinking about that. And I said, you know what? Here's what's cool about living in the day. All right, is you make the day that we're in. This is the day we have, the hour we have. This is the moment we have, and you got to make the best of it. And we want to make the best of it for our employees and our advisors. We want them to feel loved and cared for and part of the mission, and that we have their best interests in mind as well. And I started thinking, I said, you know what is good about living in the day is you get another one, hopefully. And God's blessed me now with 23,725 days. Okay. And how awesome is that? Because a lot of them I've screwed up and wasted, and a lot of them I didn't make productive. But how many do-overs have I been blessed with, Yeah. And everybody can think that way. You can go, I don't care how old I am, I get a do-over every day. And so every time we get this do-over, I want that do-over day to be so much better than the day before. I want it to mean something for one. Yeah. Like, okay, I really screwed this day up that I was given. Sorry, God, but hopefully I get tomorrow. So give me tomorrow, and I think that's so powerful that we get to have these do-overs, right? Yeah. And what are we going to do with our do-over day? Better yet, it's only 10:51 right now. What do we got for the rest of the day? That's going to be impactful, meaningful, and we spend so much of our time at work. So work's got to be pleasant. It's got to be fun. It's got to be challenging, and it's got to be honest, right? So I love the do-overs. I love that God bless us with those.
So I think people have had a great opportunity to hear about our company, hear about the heart, the mission, the passion behind what we do, how they can ultimately elect to be involved with that mission and what we're continuing to do as an organization at SmartPro Financial. Take a few minutes, and we're going to learn a little bit about each other.
Oh boy!
And have a little more fun.
The fire?
Yeah, a little more rapid fire here. All right. All right, you're ready. This is going to be a tough one for you.
Oh, yeah.
No, it won't be. I'm messing. No. All right. Favorite book?
It's The Word on Finance by Larry Burkett.
Okay.
And I love that one so much because it's more of a fact book than it is a fiction read or a let me tell you how I did it thing. I think there's huge value in that, but it's instructional foundations on. That's ultimately how I got introduced to Dave Ramsey, is because I was searching for a purpose in my business, right? What's the purpose? It's not to sell insurance or it's not to sell investments. It's like, what's my heartfelt purpose? And then this book just has passage and stories about, biblical principles on finance. And even down to the fact that there's more written in the Bible about finance than about love or any other subject. And so I thought, wow, what a connection that was. And so I actually read this book, and I gave it to somebody, away. I wish I need to get it again because it's a great reference story. So that's been the most impactful book that I had. And then the only problem with that book was here's all the stuff you should do. But there was never a part where it transitioned to this is then how you do it. Mm. And then that's when I discovered Dave Ramsey. He had actually just started on the radio, small in Tennessee, and I started learning about his principles and all. And then came 12 years down the road from that. Was the SmartPro program, and we got involved with that. And then that mission aligned with what we were already thinking in many cases.
Well, and Dave was a Burkett fan, or is a fan.
Yeah,
I believe.
And he was God rest his soul. He was a great inspiration to me. And then Dave Ramsey came and helped us put this into action and gave us permission to act, and helped us and gave us the confidence to be bold.
So I'm going to break rules. My favorite book.
He broke the rule. Just so you know, that was rapid fire.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was amazing.
I'm going to do two, but I'm going to do it very fast.
Okay.
So I love Lonesome Dove. I've read that book numerous times, and it's kind of really, really sad and really, really funny. And I just think it's one of the coolest books about life. The other one would be The Simple Wealth, Inevitable Wealth is like the business book. And that's a Nick Murray book. And you can only buy it direct through his website. But at the core of it, it is just about one thing. It is, if you want to build wealth, you have to own appreciating things. You have to buy and own things that are going to go up in value. And he's very much, I think he is a prophet of his time, like a Burkett, like a Ramsey. If you cut to the chase and you do this, you'll probably be all right.
That's right. I have a lot of ones that come to mind, and anything Michael Easter's written recently has been really impactful and to challenge you, like beyond finance, not really in finance, really just in life, and kind of opening up how things operate in the world. Some of the things you talked about, where everything's trying to sell you, it allows you to kind of eliminate some of that noise and get back to basics, right?
Yeah.
One recently, total recency bias, but one that I think has been very helpful. I have a lot of underlined things in that book that I think business, personal, family is Fighting the Shadows, John Tyson. That's been a good one recently that I think has been very impactful in how I view and operate in the business sense, but also just personal. Mm-hmm. So those are some ones that top of mind. Favorite podcast?
I struggle with that one. I just like any podcast that's interviewing an interesting person. So
okay.
I've enjoyed the Rogan podcast, the Tuckers, the some of the business ones, Josh Brown, anything that's interviewing people and just getting different takes. I enjoy that.
Yeah. I'll go. Give you another back.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I know what mine are.
I have so I used to, we talked about this a few weeks ago, but we were laughing at the odometer on my car because, one of the things that makes us different is obviously in this world of Zoom and Teams and meet people that way all the time. And it's great, but also meet a lot of people in person. And traditionally that's how my client base, how I interacted was in person. And I would drive from where I live in Sarasota to Tampa and to Clearwater and to St. Petersburg and Naples and I was used to that. even clients out in Wyoming and really all over.
I mean, that's how we run the business.
It is.
That's kind of a core philosophy for us, is go see them.
And so podcasts were something I listened to all the time. And so I had ones that were entertainment, about history. I love history. I love just anything that's telling a story about history. So I had so many ones that I would listen to. Now I really enjoy the All In podcast. That's a lot of business talk that's high level. And it's interesting just to hear that perspective from a different point of view. And it's almost those conversations that were happening that most people would never be able to be part of. And so you feel like you're listening to something that's like, oh, this is different. And you're getting
and they bring on a lot of guests too. Because every time you've sent me one of those, I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I think it's just something that you're getting a different perspective on life, on business, on the interaction of government, politics inside of business and life, and it to me that is fascinating. But it's the story behind it that makes it fascinating.
It's also why I like the SmartPro podcast.
You just did it.
Sorry.
You stole it. I always loved the Greatest Generation podcasts. I love listening to the stories of World War II and overcoming adversity, and 17 people lying about their age because they're so patriotic, they went to war when they're 16 and 17 and going into an impossible
it's crazy.
Scenarios that were like certain death scenarios, but they gladly did it for the greater good of the country. And that always has inspired me. And then, but my real favorite podcasts are the moment we live in. I love our SmartPro podcasts.
Yeah,
I zero in on them. I listen to them when I'm driving, and then I'm just so proud of the direction our company's gone. So I love watching those podcasts. Very rewarding. So,
favorite movie?
Oh man,
you can't take mine.
No, I won't. This is so goofy, but I've watched it so many times, and I don't know why. I think it relaxes me. But Ocean's 11.
Okay.
I know it's not a well acclaimed movie, but I just think it's funny. All these guys, and they have their little idiosyncrasies. So I don't know. That's my answer. Ocean's 11.
There you go.
I feel bad to say. I don't know why I'm ashamed of Ocean's 11, but
mine's Outlaw Josie Wales.
It's a good one.
I love it, and the background. The reason I started. Why do I love it? Do I love it because he's just shooting a lot of people or something? I don't know. No, it's not that. I love the story of how everything was taken from him.
Yeah.
And then he was literally running away, trying to get away from his past, trying to escape his past, and it kept following him everywhere he goes. People trying to get him and get after him, and then he finally put his stake in the ground and said, "I'm going to live here with these people that I just met that are on the same road path, the same on path with me. We're all lost." And then he puts his claim down and turns around and fights all his enemies and ultimately kills all the evil Missouri Redlegs. But I love the fact that he then created his own a family of misfits in essence.
Yeah,
and claimed his stance, and then he had peace. So I love that.
So mine is Days of Thunder. So it might not be a whole lot better than your Ocean's 11. Listen, I don't know why. It might be that 90s music, soundtrack. I think it's,
Robert Duvall.
Yes. Oh yeah. Come on. But I grew up in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And so, racing and cars and some experiences I had, as a young kid going to these places and seeing the colors, everything like that. It's just one of those I think movies that encapsulates a lot of things from growing up. And I don't know. It's just every time that's on, I'm gonna stop and watch it. And every time and enjoy it. So
the barn in the first scene where he's building the car, and it's dawn, I think.
Yeah.
And it zooms in on this old wooden barn. That's right near the North Charlotte office.
Oh,
so
awesome.
It's right by there. It's 2 minutes.
Oh man. Oh, this is a tough one. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Man, so we've been looking at these questions. My current answer is the kind of what I was talking about earlier is I would tell myself to like continue to lean into the light, the hope, because I think I've found myself at times wanting to fight the battles and get caught up in the bad things that are going on. And there's appropriate times for that. But I think overall, leaning into the strengths, leaning into what's going well, that old saying in the South, you get more with sugar than you get with vinegar, like just taking a deep breath. And you guys have been a huge influence in that in my life. But just, you'll work out the bad things as you go. Just stay positive, stay abundant mindset, run towards hope, run towards light. And just as a young man, try to remind yourself of that. If I could talk to my 18-year-old self.
I want to hear yours first.
Oh, okay. Well, I think mine is
Have a better dad.
no.
Okay.
I think for me, it's, I don't know how to say this. It's not slowing down in the sense of I wish I went slower when I was younger. Like that doesn't make any sense. I feel like when you're young, that's your time to go and do. I think it's more so enjoy the moments that you're in. One of the things is when you're in a business that's growing quickly, when you are surrounded, by high achievers at times, it's very hard for you to slow down for a minute and just realize that, wow, things are really good.
Yeah.
You look and you go, I'm only going to have so many Christmases. I'm going to have so many Thanksgivings. I'm going to have only so many days with my kid. It happened to me. This is going to be kind of sad, but it happened to me. Okay, hold on. Let me back it up for a second. It happened to me. Yeah, right. When my son got up just a few weeks ago from bed and he ran and gave me a hug. Immediately saw me and gave me a hug. And I started thinking, there's only a couple more years of that.
Yeah.
The next time he's going to do that is when something really bad happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm the one that's there to pick him up. Mm-hmm. And those moments that you have like that, they go quick. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that as a young man. I was like, what are you talking about? Life doesn't go like it's just all I can think about is getting out of school, being done with this, moving on to the next thing, moving on to the next thing, moving on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. And the next thing's it's always there, but the thing you're in right now, be there.
It's like your thing.
Yeah.
Enjoy the day you're in.
Yeah, be there.
Don't wish it away.
And I think now, oh my goodness, not to get on a soapbox with it, but we all struggle with distraction all the time. Even when you decide I'm not going to be distracted, you're distracted.
Yeah.
And it's just the culture we're in right now where the most important thing in everyone's life is a 4-inch piece of glass in their back pocket. Mm-hmm. And it's not the little kid in front of them. It's not the parent.
Yeah.
It's not the friend. And that's caused so many issues in society. It goes back to that lack of hope that people have. And I think going back to it would be celebrate the victories along the way, mm-hmm. celebrate the things the accomplishments. Mm-hmm. Don't slow down, but also be in the moment you're in.
It's like that Ferris Bueller quote, like, what does he say? Life goes fast.
Yeah.
You need to stop and take a look around.
Yeah. It's like, I think I heard someone say it this way. They said, be where your feet is. Yeah. You know what?
Be where your feet is.
That's right. Like, where are you? Be there. Because you don't know the next one you have.
Yeah.
Going to the days, like, you don't know.
Yeah.
If you're going to get that many days.
Right.
And so be in that moment.
Wow. That's powerful. I think for me, it would literally be, don't let other people define you. Don't let your past or a bad day or week, mean that's who you are. And don't let other people don't give that power to other people either. I don't know how my younger self would have taken it. My younger self would have said, I ain't listening to that. I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing, right? Because my younger self was very rebellious and it was very energetic and maybe a little scattered even. But I was always a fun-loving kid and I always liked doing things and I was very active. But I just, if I was to go back and I'd say, hey, whatever happened, bad or good, That doesn't define who you are. You always can change, and you can always make a difference, but you can always change your circumstance. And that's why I love this 23,725 days, as it reminds me that I have another chance to do something better, even in the moment. Even if one thing I think I always did, Rick, and I guess you could correct me, even if I did you wrong, I apologized. And I wanted to make sure you knew, that you can make that change, right?
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jim, I know
you're talking about grace.
Mm-hmm.
Like grace and truth.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know that you're both incredibly busy and have a lot going on. And
Oh, no, not really. I'm just kidding.
I think you do.
I think so too.
Now, and so I'm going to taking this time to discuss the company, where we're going, introduce yourself to our audience. I appreciate the time taken to do that. And hey, we'll continue to grow and do the things we're talking about. Big mission out there. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for leading the interview.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you for taking the time to tune into this episode of SmartPro Radio. I hope you enjoyed it. Listen to our next guest. His name is Steve Jones, and he is the founder of Autumn Hope's Ministry. He's going to share a powerful conversation about what Autumn Hope Ministry does. It actually pulls people out of modern-day slavery and brokenness from around the world. So take time to tune in and listen to see how that you can engage and help. Of course, do this by subscribing, because we put out new episodes on the first Monday of each month. We'll see you then.
Discussions in this show are for entertainment and educational purposes only and should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and SmartPro Financial are not affiliated.